Hail and welcome to the Black Tower. I'm your host, your friend, your brother, guide, sorcerer, Armanasul. So we've been doing knowledge, information, and stuff around the Simon Necronomicon. Hopefully you all have a paperback form of it. This goes into the All Things Necronomicon series that I'm doing. Okay, I wanted to start off with a concept. I've tried to make this video 6 or 7 times for some reason. The device didn't exactly like it or something. I'm not really for certain what was happening. So, anyway, I'm going to try to do this again. Maybe this time I'll let me record this. In the Necronomicon, page 101, you have the invocation of the 4 gates, which is the North Gate, East Gate, South Gate, West Gate. Now, they have a name, right? All right, so the North Gate's name is Mercidi. The East Gate, Mercura. Southern Gate, or the Gate of the South, Merarulu. And the Western Gate, Mermartu. Now, what's important about these is you recognize that these are the houses. These are the abode of that realm, okay? Now, from them issue 4 winds. What are the 4 winds? I'm glad you asked this question. I had to go all the way into the Aurelia text to discover this on page 190 of the Aurelia text. Give me a minute here. Sorry, trying to flip stuff over, I guess. I'm trying to turn to the page. Anyway, so on page 190 of the Aurelia text, underneath the seal of Tiamat, or not Tiamat, I guess that's, who is that? Who cares? Anywho, so it says, and there are 4 spirits of the spaces, and they come upon the wind, and they are things of the wind and of fire, and the first comes from the north, and is called Uster, and has a human shape. And he is the most ancient of the 4, and a great lord of the world. Now, the first one, interestingly enough, in ceremonial magic, you have the archangels of the 4 quarters. Well, the Necronomicon did not leave us without our guardian angels of the 4 quarters. They give it to us in the Book of the Worm. Imagine that. Now, the reasons and so forth and so on that it's spread out in the book are for myriads of reasons, whether to confuse you, whether only the true occultist would find it. You know what? I don't know. I've got no answer for that. But, so here we've discovered that the north, which is called Mercidi, there's a wind that issues forth. Now, you got to understand that in the ancient days, what they thought of as winds were spirits. Okay? So this is the north wind, and its name is Uster. Okay, now the really cool thing about that is that it has the shape of a man, which means that visually speaking, you can stand to the north, face it, and you can draw the aura, earth invoking wise. For any of you who don't know what earth invoking is, you can look it up. It's under the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. But the banishing ritual is usually done normally. But for the more advanced adepts of ceremonial magic, they start the ritual with earth invoking. So it's a lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram. That's neither here nor there. I'm not going to get off into ceremonial magic, only as what it pertains to the Simon Necronomicon. Okay, so let us go at this again. Okay, so in the north, you would draw the aura, earth invoking, which is the bottom left arm. So it'd go from top to bottom. That's the invoking form. So from top to the bottom left, that's earth invoking. And then finish out the star. You would then put finger swords like this, point in the center, and vibrate. Mercidi. And then you would trace the circle onto the east. Now, let's go to this next one. And the second comes from the east and is called Sed, and has the shape of a bull, but with a human face, and is very mighty. So, once again, they gave you the second guardian. Now, the second, house of the east is called Kura, and the being that resides over it, as we've just seen here, is Sed. So, he is, I hate to call him archangel because it's not an archangel, but it's the guardian of the house, because archangel is a relatively new term. It's one that, I don't know, maybe 1,300 years old. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Forgive me. I don't know how old it is or how new it is. But the point being, though, is that, like in the north, when we drew the earth-invoking star, vibrated the name of the house, you're then supposed to visualize this human being standing there, mighty. He might be in his 50s or 60s, but he would still be strong. He would just be considered wise because he lived to be that age, kind of like a veteran. Anywho, then you would turn to the east, draw the earth-invoking finger sword, which is what they call it when you put your index and your middle finger of your right hand. Point to the center of the star if you've cast it. Makura. That's empowering the house. That's opening the door of the house. Now then you visualize a upright bull man with the face of a human, strong, coming forth. And his name is Sed. Now then you would go to the south, and you would draw the earth invoking all over, and the name of the south is Urulu. So, finger sword, Mer Urulu. Vibrate it. Now, what does it say about the one that comes out of the south? Give me 1 second. And the third comes from the south and is called Lammas, and is of the shape of a lion, but with a human head, and governs those things of the flame and the burning wind. Now, from this, you would see an upright lion figure, kind of like Sekhmet, but instead of a lion face, it had a human face. Leonine in quality. Where have we seen that before? And its name is Lammas. So you do your earth invoking pinnacle, vibrate Mer Urulu, and visualize the doors opening and a wind blowing, and this being Lammas appearing. Now then you would go to the west, and let us see what it says about the west. And the fourth comes from the west, and is called Natig, and is of the shape of an eagle, but with a human body, have only the face, the wings, and talons of an eagle. And this eagle comes from the sea, and is a great mystery. Now, it's kind of funny it comes out of the west, because directly across from it, because eagles represent air, so it's thought of emotions. Give that whack. That's the great mystery. Woo. But the name of the house of the west is Martu. So you would trace the aura, sword fingers in middle point, Mer Martu, and see this being with the body of a human, but the head, the wings, and the claws of an eagle. And his name is Natig. Wow. All right. Now then what? Then you would come back and you would face north. Now you have to finish tracing the line because you're drawing a magical circle with this, okay? Now, what you would do is when you come back and you face north, before me Uster, to my right Sed, behind me Lammas, to my left Natig, for about me flames the aura, within me, hold on. Before me Uster, to my right Sed, behind me Lammas, to my left Natig, above me On, below me Ki. About me flames the aura, within me shines a six-rayed star. Now, what does this do? Well, you have set the four governors of the four quarters, basically. Okay? Now, the same as in ceremonial magic, where you rely on these four archangels to protect you and to empower your rights and so forth and so on, and to give order to your internal world. The same thing is done with these four beings. These four beings are embodied within your psyche. Okay? Now, what you're doing here is you're saying that you're made of these four elements, and you're made of the great above, and you're made of the great below, making two pyramids, one up, one down, bases touching. This is where I'd come up with the idea of a rite of the pyramids, which I won't go into in this video. I just more or less wanted to touch base and show the four winds. Now, a rather interesting concept that I want to throw out there is that if you think of it in this way, the actual houses actually lie between the four cardinal directions. Okay? So, for example, I will have to refer to my notes on this one. So in the north, Mare City would actually be in the northeast. It would be between the north and the east. Okay? Makura would be in the southeast, between the east and the south. Marulu would be between the south and the west. And Marmartu would be between the north and the west. Now, how is that? What can that be if that's the house and these are the winds that blow from them? Well, if you read in the conjurations of the four, I believe that it is of the south where it gives you this, where it gives it to you. If you'll give me 1 minute, I will find it real quick. I say real quick. Watch this be anything but quick. Okay. So, invocation of the southern gate. The I invoke angel guardian against the Arulu. Dread city of death, gate of no return, do thou stand at my side. And the names of the most mighty host of Marduk and Anki, Lord of the elder race, the Ara, do thou stand firm behind me against Pazuzu and Humwawa, fiends of the, what is that? Southwest winds, do thou stand firm. Then there's a hint right at the top. Thee I invoke angel, guardian, against the Arulu. But the name of the gate is Arulu. It's the house. So it'd be the in-betweens. And then you think, what is the name of the southern angel, as it just referred to it as, but of Lammas. Fiery and potent of the winds and fire and warm winds and all that. So, this is my own, this comes out of my own notes, my own practice, my own workings. Okay? You can disagree with me. That's fine. I have no problem with that. You want to keep it simple? Keep it simple. Some of it is not always based on just, common sense or, directions and popular witchcraft nowadays, right? Okay? Some of it is actually based on actual practices in general. For example, if you will turn to page, I believe it is 119 and 120, I'm going to show you something rather unique. Give me 1 minute while I find it. More flippy. 119. What is that? There's a mandal. Okay? You notice it has four sides, right? Well, outside of that square, there are four set in the cardinal directions. Okay? Now, those are the four angels. Whereas the corners themselves of that square would represent the houses. If you will notice that there's in that particular drawing, you will notice that there's weird arrow designs always pointing outward at an angle in between. This refers to those houses, Mercedi, Mercura, Arulu, Martu. Okay? Now then, let's go to page 120. Okay? That one right there. You'll notice it has 8 because there are the 8 houses. There are the 8 directions. That is what that is. But I wanted to share that, point that out. Hopefully this video wasn't too irritating and too long. Feel free to leave a comment. You can hate on it, you can love on it, but it is what it is. And I will see all of you later. I want to do a short shout out to all my brothers in the Black Tower. Baron Inzu Abula Akazaj. Priest of the Necro, who has changed his channel to Lamadou Dingir. Dude is just freaking phenomenal with all that stuff. So you guys have a chance to go check out his works. Trader Nebo and Trader Soul Harakti. All right, guys. Peace and blessings.